How do you convince someone that what they're saying isn't true, what they think isn't true?
Yeah. I guess
what they think
breaking
is
it to
true.
them slowly. Over time, showing them.
Yeah.
But you can, I think, unload it all onto someone at once, especially if that person's very so mentally weak. I feel like it would only do more damage to just be like, everything you think is a lie. Whereas, if you just sort of slowly show them.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When I saw that girl in the thing, they just kept going over the same thing because they just didn't. They just kept saying, "That's crazy. That's what's crazy to me."
What do you mean?
Not seeing things, or it's when you're in the loop of. Because she could never improve. That's why I stopped seeing her. Because she never improved.
Yeah.
She just kept being like, no, this is all fake. And they were like, no, you have to see. And they were like, no, it's definitely all fake. And like, she was there for like I saw her like a month later and she was still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They were like, and they kept saying, trying to make her realise how insane it, like, well, it's not crazy, it's just like, well, yeah, actually,
it is a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, it just means it's crazy.
To me, yeah, like, I think that's the worst.
Was there anything that made her like that? Like, was there something that set her off and then caused her to like escape in a false reality, or did it just like come on for no reason, or what? Do you know?
I think she just like before she like I saw her before she went in, and she just kind of things she was she'd do very she'd spend all her time doing really strange things, like not like doing really simple thing. Like, it would take her like hours, like an hour to roll a cigarette. She'd be like, oh, okay, so I've got these filters here, and I've got the filters. Okay, so then she'd put them down, and then she'd go put the, but then she'd forget where she put the filters.
Oh, right.
So she'd be like, oh, looking for them, like, all in her room, and then. And then she was like, "Oh, did I leave them in here?" And then she'd go back and then find them like in a really obvious place. But then she'd forget that she had her tobacco and stuff.
Right.
So she was just like, that was like before I knew her.
Right.
Like that was before she got put in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, I think she slowly built up those, but I think it was like, I don't know what it was, but she had done like some drugs, but I don't know how much of that was part of it. When I saw her like years ago, she was alright. Yeah, I think she just like she didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
She just kind of stayed at home and did nothing.
Yeah.
Like I think she liked doing that. I think that was the problem. She was unemployed. She
Wait, how old were you guys?
How old was I? This was like just over a year ago when I last saw her.
Oh, right.
That was but like it was 19 when I first knew her.
Yeah.
She worked at the cinema.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah.
I can't see if this is it straight ahead or not. I don't know that might be
But yeah, saying that, I don't think you're crazy at all, because I think Because I think you want to be a certain way, you're striving for something. Whereas I don't think she's like, she was in like a where she didn't want to do anything. She just wanted to sit around and do nothing all day.
Yeah.
So I don't think seeing things. I think a lot of people see things actually. Like there was another guy I saw, and he like sometimes he'd go like, "What?" I just saw. It was like, "Oh, shit! I just saw a huge spider," and that like he'd say, and I was like, "There's nothing there."
Yeah.
But he was a fine guy. Like mentally, he was fine. But just sometimes he might see things.
Was he sober though?
Huh?
Was he?
Yeah, when he was sober. But yeah, and he's like, he's always like, he's been alright. But like, yeah, I just think he. I think sometimes I find that I think everyone does it. Like when you see something in the corner of your eye, and you're like, "What was that?" But you're like,
I know, but when it's in the corner of your eye, you can always sort of dismiss it. When it's literally straight in front of your face,
yeah.
it's a bit different.
But like, there's a lot of situations where you might kind of like. I remember I was looking at something. I was like, "Shit, that looks just like this," and it might have been like, but then I like looked at it and looked at it at a different angle, and it was just like these two lights. It was in someone else's house, and it was just these two lights that were like. That's why I think you should confront it. It's like I've done that before. If I would have been like, shit, that's definitely something, and then hidden, that's way scarier than me like going and looking up to it and being like, oh shit, that is just two lights. Yeah, you know, that's why I think it's good to like being brave is like.
I know, but
It solves
the
it.
opposite of who I am. I think I'm actually very anxious, so it's very difficult to be very brave.
Yeah, I know it's difficult, but you know, like that's
Why
like
confront your problems when you can hide from them?
because hiding from them makes it worse.
Well, it leaves you in the unknown, like, to be honest. I don't know, the mind can really play tricks on you. Like, when we lived in the flat...
Yeah, I think it can, but then, like if you'd have seen something, I think if you'd have seen something, but then gone through and been like, what is that? Like, and gone and seen it, and then, like, looked at it, rather than, like, hiding from it, I think you'd have felt a lot better. You know? Because now, in your head, you have that memory of you seeing eyes. Don't you? Whereas, it could have been that you'd have gone up and seen that there weren't any eyes, and you'd forget about it. But there's also the pushing on thing.
Yeah.
So you felt it like you were behind you ran to...
I ran into the sitting room, and I had my back against the door to hold it closed because there was like a top on top of it which prevented it from shutting fully. Right?
Yeah.
So I had my back against it, and I felt 3 pushes. 1, 2, 3 against my waist.
Yeah.
Literally against my waist. Like where the door handle is.
Yeah.
It felt like someone was holding on to that and trying to push it open 3 times. And then I screamed out for my dad. He came downstairs and it literally went. And I was literally in hysterics. It was very horrifying.
I think there is a reason though, as to why why you felt that way, because you were feeling such intense fear and everything. It was so intense.
Do you really believe that? Or you're just playing like devil's advocate?
I believe that. No offence, but I don't think you saw ghosts.
Oh, no offence, but whatever.
You sound like one of those people who are arguing with the vegans. You know, when they're like...
I know, but how can I convince you of something you don't think is real?
Yeah, it's like when I talk to my dad about Jesus. I'm like talking to him about it. It's like, I can't talk to you about this because he says because you don't. He's like, I don't believe him, but he doesn't. You know, he's like, why can't you just like admit that what I think is right, like, or just like humour me, because if I were to admit and say, oh okay, you saw that, yeah, then that would mean that I'm going against what I believe.
I love fruit.
It's like nature's sweets.
It's like nature's gift, just all vegetables and fruits. You know?
And blackberries always been like how they are.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Because these grow naturally here, right?
Yeah.
So, you know when they pick the best one
No.
of something and then like...
Natural selection.
Yeah, that's drama. Natural selection. These aren't naturally selected because they're wild.
Yeah. Like, you know, carrots used to be purple.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? Until William of Orange came down and was like, no, celebrate my victories, which will make them wrong.
Really?
Yeah, it was this guy's fucking fault who was like, I want orange carrots. Because he brought them round from, I think it's from the Netherlands, and they were originally purple, and he wanted to make them orange because he was called
Because he was called William of Orange.
Yeah.
That's a bit selfish.
That's what kings and queens used to be like. Exceptionally selfish.
Yeah.
Like the monarchy, if you think the monarchy was bad now, it used to be crazy. And like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, imagine having to pay like the queen some of your money.
I don't think the Queen does makes many decisions though.
No, she's not in power as much as she thought they would have been removed. But that's only because I think the monarchy's been around longer than Parliament has.
Yeah. I just wonder how much decision is made by one person. Like, how many decisions do you think Donald Trump makes as an individual?
Probably a lot.
So how close is it to a dictatorship? You know?
Not bad, Yeah, but there's still loads of people around him all making the same decisions.
Yeah.
Like, I think what happens is, it gets done, and like an agreement gets taken to court, they debate it, and then just like the Lords debate it,
Yeah.
and then it's like the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and then then it might get agreed on, and if it's agreed on, like, I don't know, I think Theresa May has to agree with it, or the Queen has to agree with it, and if that gets agreed with, then it becomes like a new law or something.
Yeah.
But that's what I know about laws.
Yeah. Well, that's how England works.
I'm not going to talk about America because
Yeah.
I don't know anything about American politics.
Yeah. Why is America so influential over the rest of the world?
I know, but I think it's because it's the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah.
I would
everywhere, why do I know so much about America? Why do I care? That or I don't really care, but why do I know that all about all these people in America? But I don't know who the president of or whatever of China is. I don't know. That's the most populated, and they got so much money and shit. But I don't know. Who I don't know one single musician from China.
Well, it's because Chinese culture is very different to ours.
But I think yeah, but still, like it's miles away.
But it's like Western culture. We share similar culture with America because, you know, we're most similar to them. We speak the same language, we have the same sort of politics, we're in the same sort of wavelength, you know. I think we're just coming through now, actually. But with China, you know, it's communist country, is it? Is it still communist? I don't know.
I don't think it is anymore.
But yeah, like, it's, well, either way.
Yeah, but still, I think they're not as. I don't think they're as different as people think they are. Like, it's not like, you know, we go there and they're like doing, you know, like that's just like that's weird. That's just our viewpoint of it. I think it's quite similar. Like really.
No, I think even America is very different. I'm not saying that it's different because it's Chinese. I'm saying it's different because it's on different sides of the world. The same way America is.
I think we're just as far away from America as we are from China.
I know, but still, I think.
Oh yeah, there's also the language as well.
Yeah.
They speak
Chinese.
They speak English in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't really know much about Australia then. Probably just because they're less powerful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who's the president of Australia.
Australia, Mike? No, I don't know.
It's Dingo. Mr. Dingo.
I'd like to go to Australia too, but I think it's just too hot for me. I think.
Yeah. My dad said, like, it's like our hottest days here is their coldest days.
Oh.
So you know when it was super boiling, like 30 degrees there, that's like their coldest days there. It's because apparently like their ozone layer's damaged way more than ours.
Alright.
Like so they they get loads of like intense heat.
Yeah. Australia.
That's the thing. Like pollution, like and damaging the ozone layer doesn't affect you directly. It affects where it's like blown.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like I think loads of like England's pollution is affecting like Norway or something.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's exact, but I know it's not affecting us. Our pollution.
We're affecting the rest of the world.